Balsam Fir, Abies balsamea. Now this video is kind of a follow-up to my winter tea video that I made at the very beginning of the year. I had anticipated including balsam fir in that video, but I got so excited about northern white cedar that it just took over and the video was only about that tree. But that's not to take anything away from balsam fir. Balsam fir, the classic Christmas tree, is the king of the forest. If you don't believe me, just look at its crown. This tree was worshipped and considered home to a powerful spirit by the indigenous people of this land. In German mythology, it's said that Vosagus, the god of the forest, hides in a majestic fir tree to spread his virtues among the branches. It's a native species that can be easily identified and differentiated from any other members of the pine family. Now, unfortunately, this wonderful tree's range is quite limited, so if you're lucky enough to have it close to you, appreciate it. Its bark has resin blisters, which you can pop open and consume year-round. Just be warned, it will make everything it touches very sticky. It's actually used as a glue in some industries. I absolutely love doing this while walking in the woods. It has a really pleasant taste, and it has the ability to relieve sore throats, chest congestion, and coughs. This resin was actually exported to Europe by early settlers for its medicinal properties, and it was given the name Canada balsam. The resin was also placed on hot stones during sweat lodge ceremonies to create an aromatic steam. The leaves. The leaves are flat and they have two white lines on the underside, which are actually the stomatas. And the leaves are very fragrant. Now I just want to mention here that hemlock leaves also have these white lines on the underside, but the leaves in general are much smaller than fir needles. Once you see hemlock and fir needles together, you can easily tell them apart. With these two key identifying characteristics, the resin bubbles on the tree and the long flat leaves with the pale bands on the underside, you should be able to confidently identify balsam fir. You'll also be able to identify it from afar by looking up at the treetops. The top of the tree is pointy and looks like a crown. Think of the classic Christmas tree. You'll also see the cones at the top of the tree. You won't see them on the ground like other conifers, and that's because the cones disintegrate while still attached to the tree and they fall in scales to the ground. Medicinal benefits. The leaves. Leaf tea is used to clear the chest, so for colds, coughs, and asthma. You can use a decoction of the mature leaves in a bath to help with muscle spasms and joint pain. You can also powder the dry needles to use in cooking to make syrup or jelly. New leaves appear in the spring and can be eaten raw and are high in vitamin C. The resin. The resin can be applied topically on burns, sores, bruises, and wounds. It's an antiseptic and an analgesic and contains several pharmacologically active compounds. It's recommended to take balsam gum when you're quitting smoking to clean out the lungs of charred mucus. Plus, it will help clean the blood and lymph. You can make a medicinal oil of 20% liquid resin and 80% olive oil to calm joint and muscular pain and to treat bacterial infections on the skin. The inner bark. The inner bark can be gathered and eaten raw or cooked, or you can dry it out into a flour and use it as you would a regular all-purpose flour. It's a bit bitter though, so it's probably best to mix it with other types of flour for consumption. The inner bark can help treat urinary infections and help ease gastrointestinal inflammation. You can also use the inner bark to make cordage, but apparently compared to other evergreens, it's not the strongest. The bark is high in tannins, so it can be used for bark tanning hides, like white-tailed deer. It's very effective for this use because of the specific type of tannins that it contains. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit about balsam fir, and I hope you're motivated to get out there and connect with the king of the forest. Thank you so much for watching. From my family to yours, I want to wish you the happiest of holidays. Enjoy and be safe, and I'll see you in the new year.